Now, Zizi Kodwa is speaking at the conference. Let's go straight to it.
Standard NWC means members of the NWC elected chairpersons and secretaries of provinces, because the agency of these discussions, we must give clarity to the organization and to the country, because a lot of gossip may emerge. There's a lot of expectation from the ANC. We shouldn't allow the difficulty of the past few days to continue. It needs to be arrested. Whatever views we have, at least let's emerge united out of the meeting of NWC tomorrow. So we don't have a choice as a leadership of the ANC. It's not like we have a choice or not, but unity is sacrosanct. We've got to make sure that at the end we must agree on something, and that something must unite the African National Congress.
Okay, Zizi, as I'm speaking to you right now, there's some media reports saying the ANC's Integrity Committee has requested meeting with President Zuma and asking him if he's going to step down. If you can give us an indication of that.
Not truth. I think the media must be careful. There's going to be a lot of gossips. With some of those gossips, they thrive on the basis of what is called confusion. That's why we have no choice as leadership of the ANC to provide guidance and leadership. Because at the end, if we are not seen to be providing leadership, such gossip will come. Integrity Commission is not how it works. Nobody ever they release the name that so and so has appears. There are so many names I know, you don't know, that appeared. You have never seen them in the media. All what they do, they release a report at the end of their investigation, if there was any investigation. So clearly, that is fictitious.
And Zizi, can I ask? Zizi, how does the ANC feel about this? Because we have had individuals coming out and speaking about the development that has taken place last Thursday, but we haven't heard from you as an ANC about the development, about the cabinet reshuffle. What is ANC stance on that?
Well, it means you are not listening, you are not around. We issued a statement on Friday, and the statement of the ANC speaks exactly what I would have said from the audio. That we have noted the decision of the president. We equally noted, because immediately after that, there were various positions expressed by officials. We have noted that. We made a call in the statement, which was the overarching message in the statement, that we must be united. Whatever the issues, whatever our personal feelings, whatever the views we have, for the sake of the African National Congress, let's guide that. And I think that is the reason we thought we should meet today as officials. They are meeting as they always do. Again tomorrow, the special NWC, because we think that it's important that at all material times, ANC must speak with one voice, but it must never mask in public or into the masses the difficulties it is going through. It must only accept and acknowledge those weaknesses if there are any, but it must also provide leadership in the most difficult moments.
Is it a concern that ANC is seen being divided further after this decision that's taken place by the president? Because he's not only the president of South Africa, but also the president of, the leader of ANC.
ANC members have expressed their concern everywhere in the country. We haven't had a resting weekend. They've been very worried about the developments, what is the future of the movement, what is going on, why this, why that. You couldn't clarify that outside of the meeting, because some of this information is not information which was shared in meetings of the ANC. This was information to the officials. There could be a reason, but perhaps let's allow meetings tomorrow to unfold. But what is important that we must remember, to the members of the organization, the leadership is talking to one another. We are talking because we realize without talking to one another, unfortunately, there's nothing that can resolve and bring about unity. At the end, these are top six of the ANC. They've got to talk to one another. Unfortunately, they've got to lock themselves in one room, and they must emerge with one voice that unites the leadership and membership of the ANC.
But Zizi, what is ANC's stance as of now, as far as the alliance partners are concerned, the comments that's being made by SSCP and COSATU?
We've got a better platform to engage our allies. We've never commented in public about them. We've got bilaterals. We had a meeting last week. We will continue to do so. If there are any issues, part of what may emerge after the NWC extended tomorrow is to how best to engage further our alliance partners, because at the end, that ANC as a strategic center, it must provide leadership, including to the alliance.
These are unprecedented times. Would you agree?
These are difficult moments in the organization.
Yeah. So what is the way forward?
The way forward now, of course, we've got a responsibility as leadership. When such occurrences happen in the organization, it's unavoidable that we've got to talk to one another, regardless of the views you have about one another. The top six of the ANC, led by President Zuma, they've been in a meeting, as they always do every Monday, in this building. The idea of a special NWC meeting, it was not a scheduled meeting. So we then had to meet today, but given the extension they requested, because they've got to clarify themselves first before they come to the NWC, because at that NWC they must equally provide leadership. So the NWC is now called tomorrow afternoon. Extended will include chairperson secretaries of provinces.
Now, tell me, if you say people have to emerge with one voice, does it stifle debate? I mean, we've seen, including yourself, sometimes tweet. How should we interpret the tweets if it's not the top six?
No. What is important is that at the end, the leadership will always acknowledge its weaknesses and its shortcomings. And during the most difficult moments, we must think not about ourselves, let's think for the ANC. And I think it's important that we allow plurality of voices, but that must not be equal to chaos. At the end, you need a very strong African National Congress. Whatever views people have, because we've got about 1 million members, if all they speak in one day, nobody will listen to them, nobody will hear them. So it's important that we've got to make sure that at the end of the day, there's clarity, there's uniformity, but to clarify the organization, there's unity that must emerge out of this process. Is a lesson for the ANC. I think it's a lesson that going forward, there are many issues that we've got to deal with.
The same statements were echoed at the time when Thabo Mbeki was in the midst of a callback process. Do you think that South Africa has reached that point again, and could this be the worst threat to democracy or stability of the party since 94?
It's a maturation of democracy. It's a maturation of democracy at times, because in many organizations you rarely hear about discussions in leadership. In the ANC, whether you agree with them or not is something else, but you could hear with them. But equally, they come and sit in one boardroom and discuss about their differences. And it's a maturation of democracy. We must not see it as adverse to democracy.
Last question. Should there be indeed a recall of the president? This is hypothetically. Would the disciplinary process take place like in Mbeki or Julius Malema at the time?
It's hypothetical and it's irrelevant.
Okay. Anything that you'd like to add which is important that you didn't cover?
The ANC is talking. The leadership of the ANC is talking to one another, because we realize the current situation we find ourselves requires guidance and leadership.
Thank you, Zizi.
And Zizi, sorry, I just have to ask, over here, when we talk about factionalism and division of ANC, we've been talking for the past 1 year, but here we are talking about individuals, the leaders, from your deputy president to secretary general, who are very important people in ANC, or treasurer general Zweli Mkhize. So doesn't this bother ANC, or when voices such as big people like this go out and talk about the president?
As the ANC, we're meeting tomorrow. Part of the reason why we meet is to answer the questions you're asking.
And also, Zizi, I have to ask you, I know you don't speak for the opposition, but opposition parties met this afternoon seeking ANC's cooperation as well in, for vote of no confidence against President Zuma. What is ANC's stance on that?
It's unheard of. You can't expect ANC to help the opposition to unseat your own president. In the same way, if we want to unseat Helen Zille, we can't ask TA to do so. It's unheard of. So people, I think they are abusing democracy to do things that have never done before in any democratic, constitutional democracy. So it's unheard of.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Thank you, Zizi.